they, I mean the people who are getting the hegemonic kickback. And like in terms of like rigging the stocks, that I mean that's just fundamentally how it works. It's just that they need backers, so they're gonna have like accomplices who are gonna get as much of a benefit as they can, but that wears off after a while because the way that like take us in the US for example. The whole market is based off of everyone who's not the United States betting against the United States. We're the current US. The USD is the current international monetary reserve. So like, we're the reserve currency. So because the market pivots off the US dollar, it's in the best interest of everyone who's competing on the market to bet against us. And then what the hegemonic masters do is they get money from the interest from either one by handling the exchanges, just like the casino handles the exchanges. It's the same thing. So like in whatever way you want to put it, the whole system is rigged. It's just that like the people who benefit the most are the ones who just take on the tactics of the hegemonic masters. Which really but the problem with that is like the more money people make on the stock market, when America like when we do it in America, we're depreciating our own buy-in. And when other people do it, they're also depreciating our investment that we bought into. So everyone's getting fucked because the people who are making a little bit of flip off of the US dollar are fucking their gravy train because in the long term, when they succeed at bankrupting the USD, they're going to be the reserve currency. And then they're going to be the broke back donkey who's going to have to carry the world on their back. And then the hegemonic masters will still be making a killing because they're not doing any fucking work. And like that's why like if people actually had control over their strawmans as consumers, they would understand that like as a taxpayer, they the surety bond that is attached to the national gains is their buy-in. They have control over that. They have mass control over the market through the USD, but no one knows how to use it. And even if they wanted to use it, this the way the system's set up, it's not going to be allowed because if you succeed economically, you surpass economics. That's the point. So like exponential growth means you don't need a monetary unit anymore because you've filled the supply. I mean, I'm sorry. You satisfied the demand through the supply, through the proliferation, and so the point of economics is to graduate past economics. But with things like socialism and communism or capitalism, it's just a slow walk to inevitably having to rely indefinitely upon an economic system, which means you're just controlled by money forever, which is like how the hegemonic power
The worship of
play
money.
works. Yeah, that's how it works, which is why like I get pissed off because I'm an American, right? I get pissed off whenever I hear people saying like America was founded on capitalism. It's like no, the Union was founded on capitalism, but the Republic was never about capitalism because when you have capitalism without when you remove free enterprise, that is what capitalism is. But like all that is like a just another it's just like another form of like slavery. It's like you know how in history they tell us like, oh, the Sons of Liberty, that was about us getting out from under the arm of like the European Empire through their taxation, right? No representation without taxation. So they wanted to avoid the Stamp Act, which means that another country would put a direct tax on the growth of our nation. Well, they do that now through the market. But the way that they do it is through the Union under the 14th Amendment, through the 16th Amendment, and that's how they levy through income tax the taxpayer's ability to have consumer power, purchasing power in the market. That's how they do it. And it's like, and it's like the fucking facts are right there for anyone to grasp onto, but nobody does because everyone is like downtrodden and brainwashed,
Why
and
has
so
all of the
like
color gone out
everyone's
of the
fighting
world?
over
I
for
see memes.
scraps. It's so it's like when people are like, "Oh, China's beating us in the market," it's like, yeah, if you want to look at it like that, but like, what happens when China, like, what happened? What would happen if China became the world reserve currency? Whatever
Oh
their
boy.
fucking, I don't know what their monetary unit is, right? But like whatever their monetary unit is, they would just be the new GIMP. You wanna know how I can show you this in history? Go look at the Napoleonic Wars. and go look at how King George was basically rickrolled by money masters because they lied about England losing the war to Napoleon. And because of the publicity, the stocks plummeted, and then people came up and bought. They purchased all of like the control over the monies because they thought that the pound was going to go extinct because they thought that that would mean that the franc would be in position if the French won the war. But when they found out that that was a lie, they switched they switched control over distribution of the pound. And then even though the king was still a king, he had no fucking power over his like peasantry anymore, which is the same reason why today in the European Empire you just have a bunch of kings don't really do shit. They're like they're kings like in an archetypal sense, but they don't have any fucking actual power. And it's because people who have the real power are the money masters that control the public, the peasantry. And it's the same, and that's a historic example of how the hegemonic system works. And the same thing happened with the Russians. The same thing happened with the Chinese, and the same thing happened in America. And the same thing will continue to happen until people figure this out. But it's like now everybody's bought into the news scam. Now they're bought into cryptocurrency. They're like, oh, cryptocurrency is like it's not like, "Oh, we have a blockchain, bro. There's no way to you can't hack it, so there's no way, that we can get controlled by the central banks. Decentralization." But it doesn't matter because
Oh
all
my
they're
god, the
doing is they're having
cryptocurrency, like just the word crypt is
won't do
crypt
shit
is
because
where
the
the word
same
dead
it's the
thing.
same tactic applied through a digital medium. That's all it is. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
they're doing economics the same way, but just through a digital medium. I mean, in fact, cryptocurrency, they sit there and say, "Oh, cryptocurrency's value is based off whatever people invest in it." That's technically not true. That's how they advertise it, but quite literally, how do you cash out with the cryptocurrency? Think about it. Think about it. How do you cash out? What do you get? What do you get when you cash out? You don't get what? Exactly. Exactly. So like they're not getting so if they so when people sit there and say, "Oh, well that's why we're going to get rid of the fiat." And then how are you going to cash out? How the fuck do you cash out if you just have digital air? How the, exactly. Yeah, and then so how do you cash out? That's the point. So how the fuck do you cash out? There's no way to do it because you can't. Like, what are you gonna do? Give someone like digital credits? Like that's what the social credit system is, and that's fucking shit. So it's just like it's just like look, I understand that like automating like I get it like automation with like AI and robotics that can take the workload off of like a lot of like production. But if the labor force is tied to the consumer base and then you lock people into cryptocurrency with no cash out, there's no there's no payoff for the labor trade. And then how are you supposed to make a living when they're still tying in the resources to the market? You're basically just a slave at that point. And it's just like this is what infuriates me is like how do people not understand this? Like, I'm not the smartest fucking guy in the world, so how does this just skip over everyone's brains? I baffles the hell out of me, dude. Seriously, it baffles the hell out of me.
It's like
Yeah, but my point is that without the USD, there's no cash out because which means there's no backing to it. Like right now, let me put it like this. Cryptocurrency's value is based off the depreciation of the USD. Just like you know what I'm saying? The USD, well, that's what I'm gonna say. The USD is based off the same thing. Like the USD is just the physical, like the fiat, the USD. It's the same thing as cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency is also fiat. It's just digital fiat. Like the USD is physical fiat. Right. 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 It's based on who controls the distribution. But that's not even us. Yeah, it's not technically the US because the Treasury gives the power to the Federal Reserve, who allows the central banks to levy through the London Exchange. So see what I'm saying? And you want to know where the London Exchange goes back to? The French Napoleonic Wars, where they did the same thing to Europe. So it's literally they haven't even changed the fucking like platform. It's the same fucking platform. But if they make it digital, what that does through decentralization is it means they don't need to levy through the they don't need to levy the treasury through the Federal Reserve because if it's deregulated, there's no national oversight. And so it's fully fucking corporatist without any national oversight at all. So it's like they needed King George's house in the past to kind of rickroll Europe. Now they don't even need nations to rickroll everybody if everybody endorses the cryptocurrency, which is why like when people are trying to endorse like when they're trying to like nationalize cryptocurrency, it's like, oh, you're just locking the nation into having no regulatory powers over the monetary system, which is just what globalism is. That's what globalism is. It's deregulation without fucking oversight. That's taxation without representation. That's like literally contrary to the American way. And I'm just like, what the fuck is the matter with everybody? It blows my mind. Honestly blows my mind. If everything's deregulated, that means that your country can't like have power to control the money because whoever the corporate system of oligarchs are that control it, they're the ones that control it. That's what globalism is. Globalism is taxation without representation with respect to the nation. So it's like, and that's why the Union was a ploy to get an international foothold into the Republic, and then through that dual system of power, they have just like over time flipped the totems to make the people into a downtrodden like taxpayer that doesn't have any actual like power. And then that's literally it's already happened in all of the other countries. Notice how they already got all the other countries in line first and then they're doing it to their biggest backer, the one who's control of the the reserve currency. They're doing it to them last because if they do it to them first, another country could just take the reins and then try to change it. But they're trying to get everyone locked in before they flip the last domino so that the whole thing collapses and then they have full-blown globalism. That's the ploy. And so they're trying to like buy time by telling everyone like, "Oh, crypto, that's not another scheme." And then of course it is, but it's just
It's a
like
place to store your dead money. Like crypt means a place to store your dead, and currency is like another word for money. So like dead money.
yeah.
They're literally telling you, "Hey, you got that dead money there." Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get it. You're getting it, man. You're getting it. Hell yeah. Mhm.
Right, exactly. And then it's like and the thing is like everyone's like, "Oh, they can't hack the cryptocurrency. They can't hack the cryptocurrency." That's just saying that the electronic systems are like have security measures. You want to know how they can really hack the system? Socially, because everybody knows with the blockchain, if there's a 5150, they overturn the whole system. And how do you make a 5150? By controlling the exchanges. Well, if the nations aren't controlling the regulation, how the fuck do they even know? Oh, that's right, they don't. And then it could just be the same thing all over again. So it's like every time someone's going to break free, they'll just change the deal and they'll be like 5150. They're like, well, we can't argue with that. And then it's over. It's like every time.